Today, Dorky Dad joins me for the final episode of the War Review. We're going to be talking about Dark Hunters, predictions for the next patch, and Dormammu counters. I'm Run 7. Welcome to the Situation Room. Yeah, I should probably do something about that. All right, Dorky Dad joins me to answer some questions. If you remember his last video, he was spot on with some of those predictions about the YA team and the Ravagers. And so I'm curious to get the final word on the Dark Hunters. Dorky, what do you think about that team now that you've had a little bit of time to play with them?
I love them at super largely built. They're a very volatile team, but when it comes together, it's like the A-team. I love it when a good plan comes together.
So where I want to start with this is, where is the value in this team? Who should be building them? How big should they be building them? And where are they useful for?
So they're another option for Heroes for Hire. Are they the best option? No. They're another option for Young Avengers. Are they the best option? No. But if you're in a super high-end alliance and you need to start beating these 1 million Young Avengers or Heroes for Hire, you're going to need to build them up to at least, I have them at 820k without war buffs right now, which makes it possible. I think I took out a 900k Young Avengers, and it was super smooth, super easy. But basically, you should judge how big you want to build this team on what kind of enemies you see. So if you're seeing, 600 Young Avengers, 700 Heroes for Hire, you probably want to match whatever the high end of that is, because doing punch-ups is very volatile with this team and could lead to some lost war attacks, which sucks. And if you don't want to build them that high, you can kind of leave them just at an appropriately gear tier 14, level 75, and you could take out teams like New Warriors super easily, or a team like Uncanny. Any team that spawns with defense up, Morbius flips all that and he tears through them. So if you don't want to build them super high, leave them a medium build and take out other teams.
So for me, I built mine specifically for taking out that H for H team, and in practice, I'm punching up 100k real easy. What's the range in live war that you think people should be punching up on an H for H team, since that seems to be what Scopely kind of wants us to use them on?
I've seen 200k punch-ups, but that was like the stars aligned almost, because it's so volatile. Just the wrong misty target right off the bat, giving that defense down, and then Colleen coming in when the Iron Fist does his first attack. If that double taps the same target, that target probably dies, because this team is not tanky by any stretch of the imagination, especially that fifth slot you filled in there, whether it be Hela, Mordo, or whoever you put in. So yeah, most of my wins I did not have all 5 people standing at the end of it. As people I predict that people might be moving their Luke Cage off of the outside so he doesn't get that disrupt. How does that change the match if he's not off to the side? Does that make a difference when he pulls a taunt? Yeah, it decreases the punch up. So like that 200k that I saw, that was the Luke Cage on the corner. If you can get the disrupt on Luke Cage, you have a lot more wiggle room. The second he's not, the second you have to deal with that taunt, it goes down to punch across territory, even punch down just to be safe, save those war attacks, and look for that to be the case. They're probably going to throw him either right in the middle or in one of the back spots with Misty beside him, so that it kind of, if it goes to Misty, it whiffs and you just lose. Look for Luke Cage to probably be in the middle with Colleen on one side, Chi on the other, and then you can't target Luke Cage. Start on an end, and you have to hit everybody.
Okay. Who do you think's the best 5th?
I love Hela. I love Hela. She adds potential to take out the Young Avengers. Without Hela, that matchup will not work. She's really good against the New Warriors team. She's just super good because of that voodoo, getting that ability block out before she takes a turn, and then she spreads the ability block. And that, I mean, a full team ability block.
Right.
I don't know how devastating that is.
Have you seen that video by Numma where he showcases Falcon as the 5th?
Yeah, Numma, trust the bro. I love Numma. I have a couple of chats with him. I'm actually going to be giving him a shout out in my next Dark Hunter video, because that is such an ingenious move. I like it. I do not. I'm not trying to hate on it. Falcon needs to be strong enough to survive the potential double tap for it to work. So like I was saying earlier, if Misty gets called to do the assist on Falcon, puts defense down on him, Colleen will always be going for Falcon because he's going to have less health than all your Dark Hunters. But if Falcon uses his special, you'll clear the Heroes for Hire with everybody at full life and just so much breathing room. Personally, my Falcon, level 85, 5 red star, gear tier 15. I use him in the tech raids every once in a while. I might be stealing that from him and using it in all my H4H matches. It was such a good idea.
Now, doesn't Voodoo, doesn't he give some barrier to adjacent members? So wouldn't we want to put Falcon next to him to help protect him, or is that coming in too late to factor?
Yes, we want to do that, but it comes in after all the damage.
Okay. So what matchups do you recommend that the most players, especially like Plat 2 players, mid-game players, what do you think that they should be, what matchups should they take? What matchups should they definitely avoid?
So, Plat 2 players, how many Dormammus are you guys seeing, if any?
Not in Plat 2, none.
None? Okay, so...
And we'll get to Dormammu, because I want to talk to you about Dormammu too, so we'll get there.
Yeah, okay. So I would actually suggest doing the Young Avengers matchup over the Heroes for Hire matchup. Young Avengers is a newer team. They're not going to be built up as high as those Heroes for Hire are. The resist check that Morbius has to hit in either of those matches is basically equal. So I'd rather him be hitting into a team that doesn't have jacked up resist. Heroes for Hire, on that charge mechanic, they get a crazy amount of resist. So I would do Young Avengers with your Dark Hunters with Hela. So the reason that Hela is so instrumental in that matchup, you attack somebody not named Echo with Greg, your entire Dark Hunter team gets offense up. Your Morbius with his Striker ISO, he's going to flip defense up and deflex on all the Young Avengers, and they just bleed out so beautifully. It's just a thing to behold for sure. And you obviously Weapon X your Heroes for Hire. It leaves your Infinity Watch open to do whatever else.
Well, not my Weapon X. My Omega Red got too big, and now I'm having trouble. I can't find a Heroes for Hire big enough for my team to win. It's a pretty sad state. I'm actually really surprised that you're pushing for the YA matchup, because in practice I was having a hard time with that. That was tricky stuff for me.
Well, it's just I just did it live in War in this last one, and it went so smoothly. And I even did a misplay on it. I put the ability block not on Squirrel Girl, but it's very particular. It's going to depend on who you're going to kill in that matchup. You probably want to go for Kate. Again, if Miss Marvel is on the edge, you'll start a Miss Marvel. But in this matchup, if Miss Marvel is in the middle, I'm probably still going to do it on Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
Depending who I hit. If I flip the defense up on Kate, I'm going to use Ghost Rider Ultimate on Kate, and I'm going to finish Kate off. If I don't flip the defense up on Kate, but I do on Squirrel Girl, then I'm going to go take out the Squirrel Girl.
Now, I really wanted to build my Morbius as a striker, just like yours is, but I pulled a whopping 2 red stars. So I had to back out of that one and go skirmisher, because I'm having trouble landing that disrupt in practice matches. I'll try and get that disrupt on Miss Marvel when she's on the edge. And if it doesn't land, it's just like, oh, the whole match just falls apart for me. So you're thinking striker with high red stars and skirmisher with low stars? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, well, Raider and Striker, I think, are going to come out pretty evenly.
Yeah.
I just like Striker in the event of boosts. I think that extra bleed from the deflex is huge. But yeah, at lower stars, you need him as a skirmisher. If he doesn't land those debuffs in either matchup, oh, you're just dead in the water.
Okay. All right. Well, is there anything else that people need to know about the Dark Hunters?
They're probably the better team for the Scourge event.
You think so? Oh, I'm glad I'm wailing out on them.
They're going to have more sustain than the Web event, the Web Warriors.
Yeah, Web Warriors. Okay. Speaking of the Scourge event, what are your predictions for the next patch? Do you think that Scourge event is going to come out in the next patch, early, late? What do you think?
Oh, it has to, right? Because Morgan is going to be coming. They've already introduced the characters that are going to be coming with her, so I think that it is going to come. It's going to be late into the patch, so you're going to have some time to level that team up if that's who you're choosing to use. And I think you're asking me what the 5th character is possibly going to be? Yeah,
I'm curious.
If it's not Agatha, I think we Riot, right?
Pretty much, right?
The Darkhold team. It's got to be.
I've heard some other, like a Clay, I think was somebody who was thrown out there, but everybody wants Agatha, right? So I don't know. Speaking of 5th characters, if we're going to be pushing that Dark Hunter team for the Scourge event, who's going to be the 5th on the Dark Hunter team? Are we going to get a Blade early release in this patch so we can build them? Or are they going to be 4 with somebody else? They're going to put in, hey, you can use Mordo also on this. What's the restrictions there?
I don't think we're getting a 5th. I think they already specifically mentioned that one Scourge, right? To drop it down to only be bring 4 characters in. And I'll give a little shout out to Heartgrave. Heartgrave has a video talking about Werewolf by Night being a possible horseman that hunched over a small figure that would really fit Werewolf by Night. And I think he would be an obvious choice to join the Dark Hunters as their 5th. So I don't think we're going to have the 5th for Dark Hunters. As far as sliding one of the Wed Warriors, it's going to depend on how the nodes work, right? Because we know restrictions on nodes 5 and 10. We don't know if that's going to be also nodes 6, 7, 8, depending on your difficulty and all of them. I like Spider-Man because of his 3-turn cooldown special, where he's putting slows out. The team really lacks slows, so I really like that to open up on nodes. The stun is cool. He's going to dodge. I'm probably going to switch him to a healer because otherwise he's just going to start dropping down. Other than him, you have Spider-Gwen. Probably good for one node with that buff spread, debuff spread, but it takes her a while to reach it, right?
Yeah.
When she doesn't do it in rage, she doesn't get that 2 energy. Yeah.
We really just don't know enough about this Scourge event, do we?
Yeah, it's going to depend on the mobs that are in there, on the nodes. Yeah. It's fun. It's exciting. I'm really hyped for the mode.
And so who do you think, do you think that Scourge is going to come late in the release then, and we'll get most of our Darkhold characters coming in then? You think it's going to be what, like 3 Darkhold characters and then MLF?
Yeah, I don't think we're going to have more than those 4 characters next patch. I think it's going to be late. I think, but it's strange because the legendary always comes last, right? Like Omega Red came last, didn't he?
Yeah.
Adam Warlock came last. Yeah, I think he's probably going to come last, or she's probably going to come last. The other's going to come first, which is kind of a bummer because I don't see them doing much without her. But yeah, we'll see, because it's probably going to be about a month and a half before we see that Scourge event, if not more. 2 weeks on this patch. So
now, and the most important question that everybody wants to know about this patch, and this is specifically your opinion, is how do you feel about getting a skinny Wong instead of the big belly Wong?
Not happy. Not happy at all.
Nope.
So much injustice. But here's the thing: when they released Shang-Chi, they had that like movie skin out right away, ready to go. I'm hoping for the same thing.
Right.
I still have hope.
Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice? We've got Dormammu's on the loose, and I want to kind of get ahead of this and be ready for it. How impactful is Dormammu going to be in Arena? How impactful for War? Crucible? Should we be preparing for him? What's, how scary is Dormammu? Because I have yet to even see him in my Arena shard.
In Arena, he's not scary at all. It's really a non-factor. You just make your Eternals go first. You have a character like Black Bolt or Star-Lord T'Challa ready to stop any kind of reses or to strip energy from a Doom, and then you kind of you run a train on them with your speed. So in Arena, don't be too concerned about it. In War, it adds another team that you have to account for in like the overpowered category. So we were just talking about Heroes for Hire, Young Avengers. If you have like Eternals on that list too, or Infinity Watch, they find themselves on defense, and then you have Dormammu, who can turn a team like Axemen or Brotherhood. He can turn them into how am I going to deal with this team? Or the Eternals Chavez Emma, which is such a jerk team to throw up on war defense, but it's very effective. So he adds a very interesting puzzle to solve as far as War goes, and it makes you kind of stretch your roster to make sure you're still able to take out him, but also take out your Heroes for Hire, your Young Avengers, all those teams that you still have to account for to get your full clear. And as far as Cosmic Crucible goes, he might be like if I have him and you don't, I win our Cosmic Crucible. Because he's going to make it very, very difficult to one-tap the node, and even if you do, to do it efficiently. Because your Weapon X, who are very strong against Dormammu and who are kind of the favorite to use, they don't get their buffs in Cosmic Crucible, so they're going to get walked over. And besides that, he's going to bring people back. So even if you do find yourself on track to one-shot his team, he's eating up your efficiency points.
Yeah, that's true. I'm curious. Is there currently a war defense team that is impossible to one shot with Dormammu out there on the field? Can you combine him with something to make it where people have to two tap? Is that even a team that exists?
I don't think so. Not impossible. The hardest one we've seen is Icarus on the corner, Cersei in the back, Chavez in the middle, Dormammu in the other corner touching Chavez, and then Emma. And the reason this team is so difficult, it's similar to what you have right here, except there'd be a Chavez to give increased speed. The reason it's so difficult is because Cersei's going to rewind you right away, then Dormammu's going to come in with a stun. The only team that can one-shot it is Weapon X. You have to put the ability block and trauma on Cersei, but then you're forced to eat the stun from Dormammu. Depending who he picks, you could just be done right then and there. And then you have to be able to somehow kill the Icarus or double kill the Cersei, whichever route you choose to go from there. And then Emma is obviously, she's doing a big cleanse and she's causing havoc there. So that one is like the worst RNG option. And in my alliance's experience facing that team, 14 times against Legion and a bunch against Baby Yoda and Mutiny, it's been like 50-50 if we win it with Weapon X, which is not the case for any other Dormammu team.
Yeah. Do you think that Scopely's going to open up the spigot on Teal Gear and start pushing people through Dark Dimension 5 anytime soon with these new game modes coming out and things like that? Or have we kind of already seen the peak flow for a while with that Teal Gear?
No, I think we're going to start seeing a lot more. And the reason we're going to start seeing a lot more is because people like me who didn't spend a single penny on Teal Gear, but do rank high in these events, I'm like maybe 50 or 60 uniques away from being able to get through all the sections.
You just feel the tug on your wallet, don't you? Just like, oh, I'm so close. I could just push myself there.
No, not personally, because I just dropped too much money on Morbius. Like,
yeah, right.
But I think once people like me who get through it free to play just try hard, don't care about us keeping that advantage for a certain amount of time. They'd rather open it up to everybody for then. And of course, Dark Dimension is normally once a year, or once every 8 months or something like that. I think we're gonna have either Apocalypse, maybe not being a Dark Dimension, but kind of being that next big character that people are seeking for. And I don't think they want to have 90% of people not having Dormammu before they start trying to push Apocalypse on us.
Yeah, I honestly, I'd kind of like to see the end of Dark Dimension. I'd like to see something new bringing out these characters. I was excited for Crucible as a legendary unlock. I mean, there's a lot to be desired with the whole situation, but it's something new, and I'm desperate for anything new. So I'm hoping that we can get something a little different from Dark Dimension when it comes to unlocking Apocalypse. Which, man, that's so far down the road. All right, so is there anything I can do to prepare for when these Dormammus come into my arena and I don't have him yet? Is it just pay attention to some of this this footage going on behind us here and see what works?
Yeah, be ready with your speed characters. Know how your speed advantages work. Black Bolt just gained a bunch of value because if he burps somebody, they stay dead, which is great.
Oh man, I gotta build my Black Bolt.
Yeah, Starlight T'Challa as well. Oh, and you're probably going to want to get as many red stars on Icarus as you can. Because for that matchup to be as simple as I'm kind of letting it on to be, I would be overselling it. You need to get at least one kill with your Icarus to get the double tap that clears out Dormammu so you don't have to worry about his special. And then you just have to worry about all the members that were around him having 2 lives and how you're going to deal with that. So you need to make sure your Icarus is a good power level.
Yeah, you can see the one playing behind us here is a fully maxed Icarus, Teal Gear, the works. So, and thank you to everybody that sent in all this footage of Dormammu's and stuff so that we could see some stuff going on. I'll put links in the description to all the videos that are going on behind us now, so you can check out those videos in full at your leisure. Dorky Dad, that is about it for this video. This is, by the way, the last of the weekly war review videos. I've got a little too much going on in my life right now to continue them, but they will be picked back up, probably with a different title in about 4 months or so when I get my family relocated. But thank you, sir, for coming on and walking me through these. I love these interviews with you. I learned so much hanging out and hearing about all the stuff at the high end and all the tips that you have for us. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you so much for having me. I love hanging out with you too. It's just always a good hang.
All right, guys. Good luck in matchmaking. We'll catch you next time. Bye.